This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I have Al Curiel on the line. He's from Chicago. Right now it's a blistering tundra of white snow, probably freezing down there. I don't know how you guys do it. Before we get going, Al, I got to say, pay homage to my sponsor, taxfreefuture.com. If you don't have a tax-free or tax-deferred investment vehicle in which to grow your retirement or your finances, you have no idea the size of the tool you're missing out of your tool belt. Go to taxfreefuture.com and watch the 37 little video vignettes. You just sign up, give a little information, and then we'll open up the 37 video vignettes to you. And you will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. You won't believe it. We're going to tell you what they're not telling you. We're going to tell you why they're not telling you. And then you'll believe it, and it'll all become crystal clear. And we'll get on with the fine art of getting retired and taking control of our financial future. So check out taxfreefuture.com. All right, my friend, we are here to share a success story. Al and I bump into each other from time to time across the country at different places. And we were at the Note Expo with Eddie Speed down there in Dallas around 2018, which was, I don't know, year and a half or a little over, whatever, 2 years ago. And this year you were there again. You won. What did you win? You won some kind of award down there.
Yeah, we had the performing and the non-performing competition that Eddie has every Note Expo, and I was blessed enough to be voted by my peers as the non-performing note of the year, and Justin Bogart won the performing note of the 2009.
Oh, cool. Well, that's kind of honor. You got your trophy hanging up on your wall there over your fireplace.
Actually, it's by the no, it's in the kitchen.
It's over there by the John in the bathroom.
That's right. So
one of the things, when I was out there in 2018, Al, you were kind of at a crossroads, weren't you? You were kind of at a crossroads in your real estate career. You have a full-time job daytime gig, where he's successful at what he does, and he's trying to put away some extra money and build a bigger, better, badass retirement. B, maybe even walk away from that job, right? But for right now, it's a part-time thing. But you were at a crossroads. You're about to give up. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, let me give you a little bit of background on that. And Mitch is correct. I was about to give up the business. I had signed up to be in the program with Eddie Speed and the notes because that intrigued me. That space intrigued me. And I had been in real estate for about 35 years. I started when I was 22 years old in the Chicago area. My brother and I started buying and holding and renting and everything else. And we were fairly successful. We saved I was a waiter in high school and everything else. I'm an immigrant, so second and third and fourth jobs is nothing to us, as you know. So we were saving a lot of money, taking the money and saving it. So my brother and I decided to buy these buildings, and we were fairly successful. We had about 35 throughout the Chicagoland area. But then 1989 hit, and you know what happened in 89? The market had a horrible correction. Interest rates shut up, and we were basically out of business. Thus, we picked ourselves up and dusted ourselves off and went on to another round of investing. All along, me having my job because I wanted something to fall back on. I had just gotten married, and I didn't have a kid or anything like that on the way, but I just wanted, again, that mentality of having to better yourself all the time. So went through another cycle with my brother of this time wholesaling, and then the market tanked again in 1992, and then again back in 2008. Back in 2008, then we decided what is out there that is going to be basically recession proof. We didn't find anything until I heard the concept of seller financing and notes. And a lot of the discounts came by way of buying discounted notes. So I started getting into that space. I signed up and I did a lot of research, and then the name of Mitch Stephen came up when I was doing my research. My brother checked out. My brother said, this is not for me. I'm not, this real estate is too volatile for me to do it. And so I was just basically flying solo, and in 2018, I was like, I'm it's pretty lonely when you're a one-man shop,
Yeah,
right, Mitch?
yeah, yeah.
So you become creative, and I decided to sign up for Note Expo, and that's when one day you were having breakfast with another gentleman. I basically just slithered my way in and dismissed the guy, and I said, "Al Curiel, how you doing, Mitch? I read all your books, all three of them. I'm having a bit of a problem, and if I can talk to the audience directly, this guy is generous as hell. You won't find a more giving and generous guy out there. He, without any trepidations, without anything to gain, he just sat me down and talked me off the ledge. And that was number one. It was emotional for me. Number two, it made me realize that it's a vast industry, but a small community, and everybody, for the most part, everybody tries to help everybody else. So you showed me the way to, number one, develop your elevator pitch.
Yeah, this was to get more money to buy notes or to create notes, whatever. But you need
Either way, right. To either get notes or to get properties at a discount and then sell or finance them with, as my father would say, no fix, just sell it.
What
And
country did your family immigrate from?
I was born and raised in Mexico City.
Oh, Mexico City. Okay.
Yes, so I came here when I was 15 years old, but that's another story which I'll share later. But so you said just take it slow.
So help me, because I don't remember the exact conversation, but I do remember. I remember the place and I remember the time. And I remember sitting down. But talk more about the exact conversation. Do you remember?
I do, actually. I said I'm having a hell of a time getting private money. And the old mentality that you talk about in the course, in the Private Money Changes Everything course, that is so spot on. I wasn't tall enough. I'm too old to do this. I am too short. I talk funny. I wasn't born in this country. Blah blah blah. All of those factors that you talk about, that you speak of in your course, that was me.
You had all these limiting beliefs and all these obstacles in your way. Right.
Self-limiting beliefs. Self-limiting
beliefs. Yeah. Good.
So you said it's all in your head. It's like the game of golf.
It's not about you. It's not about you.
Right. It's about the deal. Yeah. So then you said, first thing you need to do is get rid of that mentality, check that out, and then meet people and develop your elevator pitch. And I did. So my elevator pitch goes like this. What do you do? I'm so-and-so. What do you do? I'm Al. I raise capital to give my clients above average returns secured by real estate. And that's it. It's very simple. Of course, that intrigues people. And in my field of work, my job, I deal with a lot of, in insurance and claims, I deal with a lot of lawyers. So that next week, after you and I spoke, I met a couple of attorneys that I deal with on a regular basis that defend our cases and our claims. And I gave them the exact same pitch, Mitch. And lo and behold, I got $100,000 out of them. Wow. And I bought the notes. Yeah. That wasn't it. So then I said, well, this works. I need more training on. And then that summer, I think it was that spring or summer, I purchased 2018, I bought the course, The Private Money Changes Everything. And from there, it's just been wonderful. I mean, I don't know if I texted you, I think that one time, this guy had committed to loaning $400,000. He reneged on it about a month later, but I didn't give up. There was another guy, another lawyer, who committed $300,000. And with that, I was able to get about 27 notes, non-performing notes, which is a direct derivative to what I'm going to tell you next, because from that money that I got, then I got the Eddie Speed training on the notes and the non-performing notes. So I got this non-performing note, which is the one that won in 2019, because I was able to foreclose on that property. And now, not only was I in the note business, but now I was in the real estate business because I took ownership of the property. And this was a property in Arkansas, a long walk from Chicago. So I had boots on the ground, and we had an issue with the property. The guy had bailed out, and we couldn't find him. Found out through some tracers that he was in Dallas. I tried to get the deed in lieu. He was not interested. So I had to go through the next step, which was foreclosure. After the mayor of that town found out that I was the new owner of the property, she picked up the phone and called me, Mitch. And she says, my platform, I just got elected, and my platform here is I'm not going to have blighted properties. And you people from the north or wherever you're from, you come in here and you think you're going to be a slumlord. I mean, she read me the right act. And wasted Sunday. And I'm
Little
like,
did she know, little
yeah,
did
right.
she know.
I said, ma'am, I understand. You have no way of knowing me and you have no way of believing in what I'm going to say. But here's the deal. My mission is to work with you to, number one, make money for me, but also have create a win-win for everybody. That changed the dynamic a little bit. And then she says, okay, well, that's fine. My problem, Mitch, was that I didn't have my boots on the ground that could go and look at the property and clean it up. The problem with the property was weeds, grass, you can just imagine, just code violations up to Wazola. So I said, I picked up the phone of my own volition and I said, Ms. Glover, I want to work with you, but I'm having a bit of a problem getting vendors to clean up the place for me. Would you be interested in having your city workers cut the grass for me, clean the weeds, and I can be glad to pay you? She said, yes, Mitch. And a week later, the place had been cut, the grass had been mowed, the weeds had been cleared, and they even power washed the facade. All for the incredible price of $150.
Wow.
And I was going to dig up the receipt to show you, but anyway, she faxed me the bill, $150.
That's called turning chicken chit into chicken soup.
You got it. And that became a very unlikely ally. So the ally that I have now was the mayor, and she said, okay, well then that's great. So I thanked her and everything else.
You're going to owner finance this house, that you weren't going to rent it out, that you were going to make someone an owner. And of course, everyone understands that ownership takes pride to a different level than renters. And so she was trying to peg you as a slumlord, and she had no idea that you were an owner financier. And
like I said, yep.
Everything, right?
The whole dynamic changed, and the balance kind of became in my favor, because then 24 hours later, after she had received the draft for $150, she picked up the phone and called me. And now this time it was not Patricia Glover, the mayor of Waldo, Arkansas. This time it was, this is Patricia. I said, oh, rock and roll. She says, are you still looking for a buyer for the property, or are you a renter? I said, no, ma'am, I told you, I'm not looking for the rent. I'm looking to sell the house via owner financing to a deserving buyer. And she says, I may have a buyer for you. This town is so small that everybody knows everybody, Mitch. So there was an issue with a woman that had been abused. She was in a marriage that had been abused, and the guy was abusing the mom and the 15 and the 16-year-old boys. And she says, we can't get involved. This is domestic law, but I know that there's virtually no places to rent in this town. So I said, well, I'll listen. She says, you may have trepidations about selling it to her, but she's got a job. She works at the local hospital. She's a phlebotomist. She draws blood. So she's got a steady job, but nobody will give her a chance. At which time I said, okay, so I got my RMLO to qualify her. Against the RMLO's judgment, Mitch, he says, she's got a 530 score. I don't know, Al, you may want to. But then as I thought about it, I'm like, listen, Mitch, as you and I talked about, I have limitations. An immigrant and all this other stuff. And I've got opportunities that I wouldn't otherwise have. To turn my back on this woman would be completely un-American. So I said, let's sell the property to this lady. And she qualified, and I'm financing the property to her at 9.9% interest, $50,000 with $4,000 down, and the woman has been paying on time for now. This last month was 11 months. This time is for a whole year, and it's a feel-good story.
So I mean, the first thing that pops into my mind is she don't want blighted houses. Obviously, that's a problem in that town. There's blighted houses. Do you ever think about going into that town and say, all right, Patricia, Mrs. Mayor, where's the next one that we need to go make an offer on? Is that what you did?
That's exactly right. So now the next, she says that there is going to be a property.
I know you didn't want to be in Arkansas. You really bought a note and you wanted your payments to come in, but now you end up in this. What's the name of this town in Arkansas?
Waldo, W-A-L-D-O. Waldo,
Waldo,
Arkansas.
Arkansas. Last place in the world you thought you'd ever end up, right? You didn't want to
That's
be there.
exactly.
So there you are. But now opportunity never knocks with just right. You know, it never knocks when you're ready. It never knocks at the time you want it to knock out. You know, it never knocks. It's not the right. I didn't plan. Arkansas. What do you mean opportunity is in Arkansas? Well, that's where it is.
Yeah.
Tell me more, because I don't know the rest of the story. Tell me more.
Well, no, the rest of the story is Waldo, Arkansas. They couldn't find it. None of the vendors that I wanted to go and clean up the place, they didn't know where it was. But now found out that it's about an hour northeast of Texarkana and about 45 minutes southeast of Little Rock, in the middle of nowhere. So this lady, now we talk once a month, and I says, I'm still looking for properties for you to fix and help me fix this town, because it'll make me look good. And at that juncture, this whole process, sure, the money is great, Mitch. I'm not going to deny that. But at this juncture, my mission has stopped being about making money, because I have a nice job.
The money happens. You don't have to worry about that. The money happens. So focus on the good stuff, right? The good stuff that's helping everybody. The city.
It's about paying it forward, right? It's about paying it forward and doing the right thing. And again, if I can talk to your audience about this, none of this would have happened without me having the foresight to keep my eyes and my mind wide open to the possibilities, and then talking to you, and then taking action and getting the course, and then getting myself not one mentor or two men. I got three mentors. I mean, I got a life coach. I have you. I have Eddie Speed. And again, these are people that, and the synergy that I get from these three individuals is great. And I'm not trying to say, this is all kumbaya and we're all great, but you need to find your niche. You need to find a mentor, and you need to educate yourself in the things that matter to you, because at the end of the day, it's all about people.
I appreciate, that you're touting me out of that group, but the point is here is whether you pick me or you pick someone else, you'll find your niche and then drill down in that niche, and then find the guy who's done a lot in that niche and is still doing something. Make sure they're still active, and make sure they're the kind of guy. Do your research, because there's, with the digital age, everybody can be a guru tomorrow, and just do your research and make sure the person that you pick, A, is an expert in the niche that you're in, and it's where you want to be in that niche. But B, and really important, is the kind of person that you want to be on the field and off the field. You know what I mean? Like pick a good person that you relate to all the way around. So did you ever talk to Patricia about, I could do a lot more of these houses if we could find some private people that wanted to put up some money and make an X amount return?
Oh, I talk to her about it all the time. All the time. I mean, the opportunity hasn't come up in a year, but I mean, she's and now I got her being my, my watch out person. She's looking out for properties for me, and she wants to better her platform. She wants to better the town. And now we have a functioning property that's paying taxes. And the place is, there's the pride of ownership, and it's a feel-good story at the end of the day. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about that you touched on briefly is do your research and find out about the mentors. The reason why I still have a job is, and I could have walked away about 2 years ago after talking to you, Mitch. The reason why I still have a job, full disclosure, is because I made a fatal mistake in my research. And that was going with somebody that didn't deserve to be trusted. And this person took me for a ton of money and from my private investors. So I'm still paying. I mean, for my notes, I'm getting notes, and it's a nice income. I'm not going to deny that.
But
I'm basically doing this paying because
sucking some of it back out.
Because it's not their fault. It's not my investor's fault that I made the mistake. So I basically have 3 mortgages right now, but that's okay. It's all good. I'm still healthy. I'm able to do that and hustle, but do your research, people, because there's some bad actors out there, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. I get it. And do you think if you'd have taken an extra hour to research that person before you went in that you would have figured it out?
No question.
'Cause
Without question.
they're usually right. Their crap is right on the just below the surface, right? So it doesn't take a lot to find them.
No, like you said, and I made the jump. I was seduced. That's the correct verbiage. That I was seduced by this person's charm and everything else. And then I deploy the money, and these people like, okay, we trust. I established the relationship with these people. One of them is the person that cuts my hair. She gave me their last money that she had for retirement, and I'm not going to be the one to break that trust. I can't do that. But so I figured
this is where your metal gets forged, and this is the confidence that when you deal with this thing and you get it taken care of, you walk in and go, I've had bad things happen to me and my people got paid anyways. That's one of the things on you don't really put it on your resume, but when it comes up, I mean, I had issues too early on when I made some mistakes, and I had to suffer through those. And it wasn't easy, nor was it fun. Mine was $8,000 a month for 4 years.
That's about where I am. That's just about where I am. Just about.
Yeah. So, I went out and I kept trying to make some deals and drop that balance all the time. I was doing some wholesales and some flips so I could try to get that off my back. But, so let's talk about the private money thing. By the way, very admirable what you're doing. That's a winner right there. You're a winner. So let's talk about the private money. You went ahead and got the course. I don't know that you announced that you were going to. I think you just did that on your own, right? After you saw a little traction.
Yep.
And then how did the course push you? Private money changes everything. You can see it at 1000houses.com/private money, and you can read up on it and see what it is. It's not a particularly heavy course. It's not bulky, right? It's just like cheesecake, though. It's real rich and real good.
That's exactly right.
Tiny little piece, you know what I mean? But it's all you need. If you get much more than that, you'll throw up. So
Sure.
Is that right? Because I don't want people to think like they're going to get this mountain of shit. It's not a bulky thing. It's
Not at all.
It's just right on the money. Steps is 21. There's 21 objections that I give you the answer to. It's the only 21 objections I've ever heard. If you hear a 20-second objection that I don't have on there, someone call me or email me and tell me, and we'll figure out the answer. But you just need to memorize the answers to those 21 objections, which they're pretty damn simple, the answers and the questions. They start off really mundane. Probably the most complicated one would take you all of a day and a half to rehearse and get it down. And how I tell people to do it is you take the objections with the answers and you put them where you brush your teeth in the morning and in the evening, and you just read them while you're brushing your teeth. You read the question and the answer. Okay. And then after about 4 or 5 days, you'll put up the one that only has the questions.
Right on. That's it. No, it's very simple. There's an hour and 23-minute lecture with you and Mike Powell, and that is powerful. That was powerful. And then what really hit me hard was the role play that you have with a lawyer. Of course, that is money. That is money. And again, I mean, people, Mitch is right. It's very simple. It's not hard. A lot of it is common sense and taking action. Just
well, you got to put up the numbers, though. You can't study it, then not try to not get a meeting with someone. You got to get some meetings with somebody. Yeah. The trick is to not beg for money. The trick is to get into business positions where, hey, I want you to do something for me. Let me show you how my business works, so you can consider helping me, Mr. CPA, or you can consider helping me, Mr. Attorney. You can consider doing documents for me. Let me show you how my business works. You don't ever have to ask anybody to loan you money, because the minute you ask people, hey, I want to talk to you about loaning me money, they get like this, right?
Yeah.
The boxing stance. So, yeah. And I teach you how. We're teaching how to get in those positions, and just the little 7 steps, and a lot of NLP. Did you find the NLP helpful? Like how to get people to ask you the question you really want to talk about?
Absolutely. I mean, neuro-linguistic programming is so powerful because you reverse the role. You're flipping the script. And then at the end of the day, when you get enough curiosity in their head, then they're going to say, well, can I be part of that deal? Sort of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. There's NLP, neuro linguistic programming.
Program.
We speak in such canned dialogue,
Mhm.
all of us as humans, that you can actually ask questions or say things that will require a canned response. And I'm trying to get them to ask me, where are you getting that money? Or can I be one of the people that does this? Or, I'm trying. So like if I wanted this, let's give them an example, Al. If I wanted Al to ask me what I do for a living so I could give my elevator pitch, how would I get Al? Like I just walk up to Al on this, and we're standing in an elevator together or something. We don't know each other. Let's role play a little bit. I say, well, Al, sure is cold out there today. Have you seen that? Are you staying warm?
Yeah. I mean, I have to dress up for this weather. I mean,
I was admiring your dress, man. You look very successful. What do you do?
well, I happen to be in the insurance business, and
I know some people that what kind of insurance is it?
yeah, commercial insurance, workers' comp, general liability insurance.
You have a card because I know some guy that's going through like searching for that right now. Would you talk to him about it?
Oh, you bet, absolutely. Here's my card.
Okay, thank you. So now I got the card, which means it's up
Right.
to me whether he gets a call back now. He doesn't have to call me. I got his card.
Well, let me ask you, what do you do, Mitch?
No.
What do you
And
do?
then I say,
Oh.
I almost went into the insurance myself, but I took a different path.
Oh,
It begs the question.
so what do you do?
Yeah. So then it says, well, I help average people achieve above average rates of return on their idle money. And I'm raising this capital and they all get very valuable real estate. So if like they don't get the ROI that they're signed up for, then they get a piece of real estate that actually is better than the original deal.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. So like you either get paid or you get paid bigger. So,
There you go.
hey, how can I call you?
Absolutely. Here, you got my card.
I needed him to ask me what I do so I could give him my elevator pitch. So the only way is you get in the conversation, then either you or someone needs his card because you want to get control. I want to be in control of if we're going to talk again or not. I'm not leaving it up to Al. I'm leaving it up to me. And then I just say, I really strongly considered going into whatever he said. But I took a different path, and you just leave that hanging. You don't say anything else. And if the guys
always ask you.
warm blood in them at all, they're going to go, so what'd you do?
That's exactly right. Every time, it without fail, really, honestly.
It's about 8 out of 10 times. So there's two people out of that 10 that I don't know. They're too busy, or they don't give a damn, or they're not people persons.
They're just not interested. That's all.
And probably just if you're not that curious, we probably don't need to talk anyways.
Exactly.
But then there's I go through, there's this NLP on how to get people to ask you, where are you getting that money? So you can so you can get into what you want to talk about. We're going through my business and I'm phrasing things such as, it's begging them to ask me, where are you getting that money? It's begging. It's about 8 out of 10. We'll have to say, hold on. Where are you getting this money? And then now they open the door. So the premise is I could open doors and try to push people through doors, or I could get them to open the door themselves and think it's their idea to get into this room. And now I'm not a salesman. I'm an opportunity that they were lucky enough to stumble upon.
Yeah. And stumble upon they do. it. That's exactly right. No, and for me, and again, because I've developed rapport with so many people in the area in downtown Chicago when commuting and everything, taking the train and whatnot, you get to know a lot of people, and through casual conversation, you break the ice that way. And, like you said, maybe 8 out of 10 times, maybe 9 out of 10 times, maybe 10 out of 10 times. It depends on the time of day. I mean, when it's sunny outside, people get a little more friendlier or whatever, but as the weather gets cold and nasty outside, people are a little grumpy, so they're not going to be as engaging. So there's this little bit of psychology.
Bundled up and headed to the next warm spot. So we still have this time ahead of us that's going to be pure pay dirt for you. Of course, I'm not hoping for it, but it'll happen because it always does. It's always in the future. It's always on its way. When the stock market fails, it's the easiest conversation. You can, wow, it doesn't matter. You could be on the subway. You can look at the guy next to you who has a silk red tie on and a nice leather shoes and a nice briefcase. You say, wow, did you see that stock market today? And you can tell by the look on their face if they're in the stock market or not. If he looks down and goes, yeah, it's horrible, and he starts rubbing his forehead, you go, man, I'm so glad I have other investments besides that stock market. But I don't know how these people live by this ticker tape. I'm so glad I don't have to live by that. Begging the question, what do you do? Where's your money at, damn it? Where's, how, tell me more.
We've actually, I've actually started that conversation has already started on the train downtown, because I really believe that within the next 16 to 24 months, Mitch, there's going to be a correction. I can't tell you the exact date, but I think it's going to be a correction, and that is going to be an opportunity for people like us. And there's going to be the demise for a lot of people that don't take the time.
Let's think about how to do it now while the stock market's booming.
Right.
You could walk into the same guy, same subway, same thing and go, man, that Trump's got this economy hotter than hell. It just makes you wonder, how long can it go on? I thought it would have dumped, it's been going for so long. I thought it would have dumped like a year ago. I don't know how these people that are still in the stock market are sleeping at night wondering, when is it going to break? When is it? I'm so glad I don't have to worry about when it's break. I got out, at the top, I made my money. I'm in a place that's, I think now is even better than the damn stock market, but I don't have to worry about that ticker tape anymore. I am relieved.
Yeah, you're right. No
now,
question.
What's the guy going to say? Where is your, I'm worried too. When is it going to break? I don't know when it's going to break. What are you doing? Tell me.
What are you doing? Right.
I'll tell you all about it. It's real simple. It's super simple. I says, I can tell you in 10 minutes, and then we'll just have a cup of coffee and a bagel.
Yeah, absolutely. And I go to these guys and say, well, this business that I have, can you take a look at it and beat it up a little bit?
The biggest problem that most people have in that whole course getting over is you've got to get their card. You have to get the card. You can't say, okay, well, here's my card. Call me when you want to have that bagel. It's never going to happen. You're not. It was too brief a meeting. It was too superfluous now.
Well, not only that, but memories fade, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to remember. So you gotta get the card and call them.
When I'm talking to the people, it's like, did you get their card? Oh no. I said, that's the biggest mistake that I listen to my students make. Is like, you got to get in the habit of getting that card. Remember, that's the first thing you get. I know someone who might be interested in what it is you do. Now you can't always pull that off. I'm an astronaut. I'm going to land on the moon tomorrow. Oh, can I have your card? I know someone who wants to go with you. It's hard to pull that one off. So you have to come up with something. But
Yep. No, absolutely. You're right. It works. It worked for me, and I'm sure it's worked for 1,000 of your students. And just execute, guys. Execute.
Let's talk about this. When and I wanted to make a suggestion. You said you had someone that committed to 400, then they backed out. They just got cold feet, or they talked to someone. You need to send some of your deals that really worked out, or your over the top deal that's still there. Just saying, hey, I know it might not have been your cup of tea, but there's got to be someone who needs to make X amount interest per year with this kind of security. Who do you know that could use the help, sir? I know it's not for you, but who could use the help?
That's a good idea. Thanks, man.
Here it is. Here's a picture of it. Here's the comps. Here's the whole thing. And Al, I even talk about how to make regular, run-of-the-mill deals into super deals, like by taking a piece of it yourself. Like if you need 50 on a $100,000 house, put in 20 yourself, and now I only need 30 on 100. That's how I'm going to get in with this $400,000 guy. I'm going to give him a deal that's so stupid that even he can't back out of it.
Yeah. No, I again, full disclosure, I froze after I'm like, I didn't know what to do.
This is a way to get back. Say, hey, not bugging you about this, but these deals are so good. Certainly, somebody who needs this kind of return for this minimal risk. I mean, actually, the worst thing's going to happen is they're going to get paid on time, but they're promised. The best thing's ever going to happen to this person is that they get this property back.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's true. Something happened to this guy because he was all gung-ho about it. And then after my follow-up, after like, what happened? let's have some dialogue about this. He was giving me the Heisman. I haven't talked to him or anything like that.
Well, you decide, but if you think it's worth it, you send out that one thing,
Yeah.
not asking him to do it. Say, hey, some of these deals are so incredible, man. You got to know somebody who wants a piece of this.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, Mitch. That makes a lot of sense. I'll do that.
Then I was going to ask you, then you got the guy with 300,000 that went through and everything, and you're working with that guy's money.
Oh yeah, everything is fine. I mean, I'm
How does
paying
that
him.
change your world and your confidence? And like now, because one person gave you 100,000, that would give you some confidence. Another person gave you 300,000. By now you're thinking, I can get 2 million. It's just a matter of time, right? I can get 5 million. If you can, and actually you don't really need a whole lot if you're going in and out like a flipper.
Right.
If you're holding notes, you need need to get a little bit more. But damn, your cash flow is.
My cash flow is tremendous. I'm not going to deny that. Again, the money is great. I mean, I typically borrow at 5 to 6 now because of the interest rates. And then the arbitrage, I charge 8, 9, like this woman in Waldo, 9.9% interest. So you can see the numbers. I'm not going to go over the minutia of it, but the cash flow is really incredible.
So this, can I jump into coaching mode here again? So you're this guy with the 400, he backed out. You were talking to him about 5 or 6%?
No, we're talking about 7. I think he wanted.
Okay, so there's another way to go back to him. Say, I got to thinking, Mr. So-and-so or Jack, I got to thinking, if the 7% is not aggressive enough for you, I can pay 10% if you'll give me a 15-year fully amortized note. And then if he says no to that, he says, in probably like, well, 15 years is too long. How about if you give me a 15-year amortized note with a 7-year balloon?
Oh.
So there's, you can just keep finding an excuse to go back to them. You know what I mean? Like, I can pay you more if you'll give me better terms.
That's good. Yeah.
So you use the next set of terms to re-engage with them.
Yeah, that's good.
And you might not even say to him, you might say, you got to know somebody who wants to do this house. And by the way, tell them I can pay as much to 10% if they'll give me a 15-year AM.
Yeah.
I can pay 9% if they give me a 15-year AM with a 7-year balloon.
7 balloon. Yeah. It's all about architecting the deal, right?
You're talking to him about talking to someone else. You're talking to him. Make no mistake, you're talking to him.
Got it. No, that's good.
And a lot of times, did you find that interesting in the course where I'm actually talking to my business partner, but we're not talking to each other really. We're talking to the guy next to us at the
guy next to you. Yep.
Bar, who we know's loaded because he's got a $50,000 watch on his arm. We know this guy's loaded.
That was clever. Yeah.
We're talking to each other about Mary, who just loaned us $350, and she was really happy with the 8%. And I said, I thought she would have asked you for more. He says, well, we could have given her more with a little bit of set of different terms. We're not talking to each other. Mike and I are talking to that guy right next to us, and about 6 out of 10 times, the person that we're trying to get their attention will say, hey, I really apologize that I overheard y'all's conversation. What do y'all do? And then we get into it. It's about 60% of the time. It's a little tougher play, but it's really fun to do it.
and like coffee shops are an excellent place to do that. It's happened to me twice already. I was talking to my brother about it, and some guy that was some kind of a anesthesiologist says, sorry guys, I couldn't help but overhear the conversation. So tell me more about it. Can I weigh in? What do you think I said? So I'm having some dialogue with the guy. He's so busy. He's hyper busy. Not this coming week, but the following week. I'm going to meet him at a coffee shop again.
So do you do a PowerPoint presentation that's in that course, or you just do it yourself?
I do it myself for the most part because it's, I'm old.
It's so good. It's so good.
Yeah. I practice and practice and practice. Practice makes perfect. And so after the commitment is made and you see the money going to the title company, it's like the poops out of the dog. You can't shove it back in, right?
Yeah. And they're
committed.
Mark my words. They'll give you more, or they'll bring you someone who has more. It goes in like 3-month increments. You got to pay them on time for 3 months, and then another load comes, or another, hey, can I get out some more?
Roger that.
Well, good for you, man. I'm really glad that you got out of the course. That course is the most underbought, underused, no one knows. I guess people don't really know, or they don't really believe. They have so much limiting belief that they don't even want to confront the idea of getting private money, which is a shame, because if you just get into it a little bit, part of our job as a coach is to change your limiting beliefs and get you to a point where you actually believe this might have a chance, because nothing's going to have a chance if you're like going, this isn't going to work. This ain't going to work. So change that. I have $20 million worth of private money. It's made me a multi-millionaire. And it's all because, and I didn't start out with 20 million. I started out with 50,000, just like everybody else from dad, you know what I mean? Or from my aunt Diana or whatever, and I just proved myself. My dad wanted to give me $35,000 and my brother $35,000 as a gift to start our careers. I said, I don't want you to give me anything. Loan it to me at 10%. And, I ended up having hundreds of thousands of dollars from my parents, which was better. One time 35,000, or be able to borrow $250,000 over and over again. Hey, the 250,000 being borrowed is way better than the 35,000 one time.
And you also have that hard money lending that you have, right, as well.
Yeah, well, I got so much private money at one time. At one time in my career, I had so much private money that I couldn't get it all out. So I started a hard money lending where I loaned to my competitors who found terrific deals before I did. And I just loaned them the money in a first lien, and the only amount of money that I loaned was the amount that I wish I would have paid for the property that I'm loaning on. I'm collateral only lender. I just loan what I feel comfortable buying the house for. So if they don't pay me, I essentially buy the house. Actually, you loan like $2,000 less than what you're comfortable buying the house for, because it's going to cost you $2,000 to get through the foreclosure here in Texas. So, so by the time you get the house, you're all in. I actually average loaning only 58% of the.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah, I bought this property.
I trained my borrowers not to borrow the rehab money from me. I trained my borrowers to go get 0% credit cards, and put the rehab on that, and don't pay any interest on that 20,000 or that 30,000. Well, that severely limited my risk, because now I'm only paying for the acquisition, not the acquisition and the rehab. So it dropped my LTVs down to where I don't care if anybody doesn't pay me. They can all not pay me. I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
I don't wish for anything bad to happen to anybody. I hope they do their thing. But if they don't pay me, we're fine. As a matter of fact, it's kind of a coup, because I just I'll pick up a bunch of properties that I wish I would have bought anyways. So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, you're spot on. I mean, that's the beauty of the course. Is very versatile. It's very direct. It's very deliberate. It's easy listening and easy read, and the documentation and the resources. That's the other thing. The resources that you give at the bottom of the page there are unbelievable. The documentation, the assignment. I mean, guys. I mean, it's I got to tell you, there is a and you know this better than anybody, because you're the one who graciously donate this course. But there is a dinner at the Note Expo the night before, and we have an auction type of thing, and your course gets more bidding than any other course. So to say that this course is underpriced, you're spot on, because it fetches a lot of money in donations, obviously, but I think
it brought $5,000 times 2 people this time.
Is that what it was? Yeah, that's exactly right.
Don't quote me, but we did throw in a caveat this time. The 2 people that bought it got to spend a day at the ranch with me.
Really?
Yeah. So they got the course, and they're going to come down and spend the day at the ranch with me.
Nice. I I already had it, and I didn't pay anywhere near $5,000, but I didn't know that.
It was a charity thing. It was for what the kids in Dallas that, I don't know, they're down and out.
The Montage Orphanage or something like that.
Yeah, it was a great cause, and we were happy to donate it. By the way, so I'm going to make you an invitation, because you look so brokenhearted when I said that.
Okay. All right.
Your puppy dog face is like pulling my heartstrings right now. So
that's right.
I'm going to tell you, you get to Texas and you San Antonio, you give me a little heads up. If we can get you down there to the ranch for a day, we'll go.
You got it. Thank you, man. That's awesome. I will take you up on that, because number one, I need to get out of this cold. the weather. It's just
Don't come today.
no, don't worry about that. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for sharing your testimony about private money changes everything course. You know, I don't like to be real salesy on these webinars because that's not why people show up for. But I'm telling you, I did the very best I could to change a whole bunch of people's lives. If you'll just, you know, it's $9.97. You get one piece of private money, even $20,000. $9.97 is bullshit. You know what I mean? And I went through a lot in my life to get to the point where I could put these pieces of the puzzle together and have it work so effectively with such a small amount of work. You know, it's still work though, right? It's work, you know, but
And you don't have to, you don't sound salesmanship or the salesy or whatever, but let me just say this, that it's really, the money that you spend on this, you're going to have to get the education. You get the education like or you get the education with somebody, but you're going to pay. So
think of how much it costs if you don't get private money.
Right.
It'll cost you a fortune. Would it cost me millions upon millions if I didn't learn how to get private money? As a matter of fact, if you're a real estate investor out there right now and you don't have private money, get this in your future. You're going to have to set aside 6 months or a year to master it because it will change your life completely. Imagine if you could buy anything you wanted. You didn't have to partner. You didn't have to pay hard money, guys. And you could get the money within, you know, hours, if not, you know, a day or a day and a half or 2 days. You know, easy money. I say easy money, quick money. And what would that do for your career?
Absolutely.
What if you close your eyes right now and say, you know, if I find 2 houses this week, I don't have to worry about where the money comes from. I got a real reasonable rate. It's all straight up. And I got time with this money, not 6 months, not 8 months, you know, not 1 year. I got 5 years or whatever you want, you know, whatever you can make. Think how that would change your life. It's really the difference between being comfortable and making a great living to being way over the top successful and have cash flow like you can't imagine. It actually just becoming really wealthy and free.
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway from me, Mitch, was the fact that I was able to lower my learning curve from your experience of so many years doing this to a short 3-month gap. Because
yeah, just shorten the curve. You know, you eventually will figure it out if you stay with it long enough, because you go through everything that doesn't work. If you stay with it long enough, which is the big thing, staying with something that's not working is hard.
Got to take action.
Yeah, that's why I try to short it down so you have minimal failures and you can get to it. All right, man, it's 1000houses.com/private money. That's real complicated. Check it out. And you guys, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be on, share your story.
Thank you very much for having me, Mitch. Enjoyed it.
I'm going to see you in San Antonio one of these days, right?
You got it, buddy. Thanks, man.
We're going to go to a place called Bigfoot, Texas.
All right. Be good.
Bye. All right. This is Mitch with the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I want to thank taxfreefuture.com for sponsoring this episode. Go to taxfreefuture.com because you will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. And we're going to tell you what they're not telling you. We're going to tell you why they're not telling you. And you're going to find out why having a tax-deferred or tax-free retirement savings account with checkbook control is so important and why they don't want you to know about it. I'll talk to you soon. This is Mitch Stephen. Hope you guys are having a great year.